TIL that in 2017 all GPS coordinates in Australia were shifted 1.8 meters to account for continental drift since the last update in 1994. Moving north 7 centimeters a year, the Australian plate is one of the fastest drifting plates in the world. All continents are drifting. That's why they have fixed local coordinate systems which drift compared to the global GPS coordinate system. Also, countries have their own local fixed systems that drift compared to continental systems. That's how a property has the same coordinates even when it was measured by a surveyor decades ago. In reality it has changed its position for tens of centimeters. Landmarks' positions are more fluid than we think. Yeah, so we have two geodetic datums. Old projects are on the old datum and new projects since 2020 have been on the new datum. The map grid of Australia coordinates were moved 1.8 meters but most project grids coordinates were moved 100 kilometers or so, so you can't confuse the two. It's been a pain in the ass in civil engineering world. Gotta double check the survey you're using as most aren't done in the 2020 yet while most old ones are done from the 1994 grid. Had a bunch of shit set out wrong or built in the wrong spot. The title is misleading. What was shifted was map coordinates. GPS outputs do not depend on maps nor on any assumption that land locations are stable. They are not stable, to the degree of accuracy now accessible through GPS 2017-1994 years. 23 times 7 plus 161 cm or 1.61 meters. Math doesn't check out. To move 1.8 meters in 23 years, the continent would have to be drifting at 7.826 cm a year. Pusher's glasses backup knows. We get a yearly update for GPS base stations here in California due to seismic shifts. They're not large but large enough to shift measurements taken using those bases. Do you think the rival system knows it? Maybe if they're gonna strike targets inside Australia in future wars, they'll be off by several meters. Bruh, when Australia eventually hits Asia, imagine all of its horrible insects being released eventually making their way to the entire world. Fuck, I never thought about it, but if we form Pangea again all the awful wildlife of Australia will be released on the rest of the world. My math might be off. Are you telling me an entire continent is moving about a foot every 4 or 5 years and we don't hear about earthquakes? China, we're going to assert control of SE agencies by building artificial island bases there. Australia, hold our beer. When they call it drifting, I like to imagine Australia going all Tokyo Drift style, squealing around corners. Satire wire was onto something. Australia is tired of the upside down jokes. In 500 million years they'll be in the northern hemisphere. Out of the way Indonesia, we're cutting out the shipping and taking all our iron ore directly to China. It's not just the animals then, the entire continental plate has it in for the rest of the world. Well, at that speed they will never be featured in Fast and Furious, Australia Drift. It may not be much, but we certainly make the earth move with it. Hello ladies, if you have an older car with sat-nav, you're at risk for driving into a canal. See, this is why they couldn't get the Stargate to connect to space Australia. Given the pace of the drift, Australia may not be as down under anymore. Wait, so for years all GPS in Australia was off by almost 2 meters? But where's it going? Hey Australia, where y'all drifting to? That's because it's running away from all the goddamn spiders. What happened to the other 19 centimeters? 23 years 10 centimeters equals 161 centimeters. Aussies just will do anything to get cheaper flights to Bali. 7 centimeters here? Just say about 2 meters every 3 decades. Northeast, you say? Wonder if New Zealand is safe then. Oh, India, objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Will it crash into Papua at some point? Or Indonesia? So in about 4,828,032 years it was New Guinea.